Striking. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Loosely Related Podcast. We are back. We're here. And if you could tell, it's like we are about halfway to being back to a fully functioning podcast.
Yes.
We are in the same spot that we were when we did our last time. We were all together. And it's just that we
mostly all together.
Mostly all together.
Yeah.
Difference is we traded Rob for Brian in that episode. Brian wasn't here. Now Rob's not here.
No.
But
It seems to be that this is the void area because every time
Yeah.
we're in this area, as you notice, we were in the green room, so to speak, area, living room of the basement with the LRP podcast sign in the background.
yeah,
Last time we were here, someone was missing.
right.
Someone's still missing this time. So
Yeah, this
one of
week,
these times.
well, we're back to our usual programming. I know we did the last 2
Yes.
weeks. We did 2 live streams. They were both a lot of fun. And definitely a lot of work, a lot of preparation. And for us here at Loosely Related, if you're familiar, preparation's not really our thing. We don't,
Yeah, no.
we don't usually do that.
when we don't want to prep, I think
Yeah.
that's the other reason why we come over here,
Right.
because it's more relaxed.
Exactly. We have a couch.
We just like sit on the couch and
Yeah.
chill.
Is there anything that means
Go on the
like
casting
relaxation or not care? I mean, they literally created the word couch potato for people who literally just because that's like, oh, if you sit on a couch all
Yep.
day, you're a potato.
The amount of time we've been spending indoors, I feel like a couch mashed potato.
Couch mashed potato.
Yeah.
But you're basically you're just the couch now. You're just like
I'm blending
you
into
become
the couch. Yes.
Yeah.
People sit on me.
Yeah. Well,
a
your
lot of
skin
times.
looks like
I'm
it's made of
Episode
leather.
straight out of Black Mirror.
Yeah. It's like I'll just be like
The
hanging
most
out.
boring episode of Black Mirror. Joe becomes a couch. It's the only episode. I just don't get it. My skin's getting more leathery every day. I would.
Yeah, my dog just jumps up on me now instead of
Yeah.
on the couch. Just sprawls out on top of me.
We just
I'm
lay
like,
the
"What are you
Giants
doing?"
blanket over you now. We don't lay it
Yeah.
over the couch over
Yep.
anymore.
Yeah.
But
You know that movie Harry Potter the Half-Blood Prince?
Of
Where, like,
course.
they,
Yeah.
they go to the professor's house and he's like
Yeah.
literally a couch, just like this guy's on the
Yes.
couch.
Yes. Yes.
yeah, that's my.
It was that little
dad.
armchair, right? The blue armchair, I
Yes.
think it was. Yeah.
Brian just wanted to find an excuse to mention Harry Potter. That's all it was.
No,
Once again.
absolutely. I'm glad he did because had he not, I would have probably tried to think of something to think
And then
of
it
Harry
would have
Potter or Star
trailed
Trek.
off. That
I got to come up.
You ever see that movie Star Trek?
Yeah,
And they were in
I was
space.
gonna
It's the
say,
same
yeah.
thing as this. Same
Gotta
exact
figure
thing.
out there are things
Somehow.
where they were, I'll think of an episode where I'm sure
Good.
there's an episode
Well,
where people.
our fans are waiting on pins and needles for
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
But we are back, and as always, no longer necessarily 6 feet. We'll try to maintain as much as 6 feet of
We haven't
distance
been
as
6
possible. But
This is the furthest we've been apart from one another since the last podcast. So.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. But anyway, hey, let me welcome back my dad. What's up? How you doing? You doing all
Good.
right?
I'm doing good. Update on the basement. It's pretty much done now. I'm just playing around, adding little things and gadgets to it, and just upgrading electric and
Yeah.
I want to put all smart devices in here,
Yep.
so
Brian-
I don't have to get up
Brian's
off the
the
couch.
Complete
Brian
the
is-
rocket ship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the rocket ships. That's in progress. It's not. I just watched the show that we'll mention later on about in the
Yeah.
show, but sort of gave me some inspiration into how to
Right.
design better design for my rocket.
Right,
you know?
for your rocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you're by the spoiler alert, if you're using Apollo 11 to design your current rocket, that's bad. I think they're up to like Apollo 39 right now.
I
That's
know
like,
the Apollo program.
No.
they-
Apollo 11 was the best one. They remade it. They rebooted it in 2012, and it was terrible. The original was the best.
Yes, absolutely.
typical.
Well, at least 11 was successful. I'll just have
was.
to start
Yeah.
over again. And
That's
Not
true.
do Apollo 13.
no, Apollo
do not do
13.
Apollo
I'm
13.
not naming it Apollo 13.
I mean, this podcast basically already is Apollo 13.
I think I'm going to name it Preparation H.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Preparation
there you
H.
go.
All right, Dr. Evil. Anyway,
But
let
yeah,
me
so
also.
it's pretty much done now.
Oh,
so
yeah, I'm
yeah,
sorry,
so so we'll have. I'd like to show everybody. It pisses me off because I got it all finished, and now I can't even have
Just
it.
literally-
we're having it down here, so at least you can see a little bit of the basement.
little bit
you
more
know?
of it.
A little bit more.
Well, that was part of it. We wanted to kind of get back down here. I think it's starting to get to a point where it's like you do go stir crazy. Like we've talked about it before, but for us, it's also frustrating because we were doing the podcast, getting everything ready for the longest time. If you go back to our first time we came down into the basement, that was before even Brian was here. You look at it now, and it's like I know that, obviously you guys wanted to have a nice basement, but we did it also partly for the podcast. The
Yeah,
podcast was the big motivating factor behind why we wanted to make this nice, having guests come over.
Yeah,
and stuff
well,
like
I
that.
mean, again, I think we mentioned it in past podcasts, but we were doing the podcast and we were upstairs, and then we said, let's go downstairs. I built a little fake wall with the fake sign that I made, and it was just
People never
dummy
saw
wall.
behind the camera.
They never saw.
Yeah, no,
they
and
never-
behind the camera was my destroyed basement from the past renovation because of all of the water damage. But the walls, and the thing that got me going was the fact that when we were doing like sort of behind the scenes kind of pictures, you were getting the edges of the basement. You could see the parts of the basement that were just looked like
the
hell.
best-
and I'm like, I got to do something about this. And I just started doing that, and then I just kept right on going. I just
Right.
did the whole basement.
Well, the
so.
best was when me and Brian for when we had Nestor Rodriguez on film, the veteran film producer, who by the way his television show is
gonna be
about
coming
to be
up.
up and running.
Yeah, it
But,
is up and
yeah,
running.
that's
It is
right.
actually up and running.
up and running. Okay,
So-
so the info we will have some info on that later, soon to follow, soon to come.
Yeah.
But for that episode, me and Brian were sitting together, and we had to use the one camera, and that camera was just showing us. We didn't even have a background. It was just, here's our parlor room. Here's no wall,
No wall, and the
terrible
frame,
stone, and it
the
was-
the frames of
Because
the
that
old
was not
basement.
planned.
No,
It was not planned.
No.
Yeah, Brian. Yeah, we were like Brian wanted to be on camera, and I was like, I was actually, if you remember, I was gonna sit off camera for the episode because I was like, Brian is an actual filmmaker. He
Yeah.
has way more to talk to Nestor about than I do.
Yeah, right. Originally, you were not.
And
gonna,
I was gonna, if you
yeah.
remember, I was gonna sit
were gonna
behind camera. I was gonna be the Brian of the episode, and Nestor was like, "No, we'll sit. Me and Brian are sharing a microphone the whole episode. Oh, I want the mic. I want the mic.
Right.
Hilarious.
So
back and forth.
Nestor's episode was the inspiration behind the upgrade of the Loose Related podcast.
It definitely was
basically.
a huge motivating force. Yeah.
And it was only because I couldn't get everybody in one shot. Like
Yeah.
I had to use two cameras.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
and that also let us know. Wow, two cameras are possible. We're like, one camera is barely even possible. Two, I'm like three.
But
maybe in 27 years we can have three cameras.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like the part in Back to the Future was like nobody has two television sets.
Well,
He's joking.
You should have seen what it was like back when we just had when it was silent films. You know,
Yeah,
when it was
you
silent
were there
films,
for
and
that.
the guy used to have to
Buster Keaton.
he had to like do this with the crank on the camera, and he had to do it just
I
at the
love
right
he's
speed.
saying this guy. He means him. He's talking about
Yeah, well,
him. He means I had to do this.
It was one of the things I did. I was
One of
just
the
as much
things.
of a jack of all trades back then as I am
I
today.
believe it.
You know,
I believe
so.
it. You were
I
the
didn't
guy.
use those cameras in college.
Did
Yeah.
you really?
Oh,
Seriously?
that's right.
Bolexes, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You crank it. Basically, you're cranking it for like 20 seconds of footage. So you crank it to like wind up 20 seconds, and then you have 20 seconds to press down before you have to crank it up again.
Holy crap,
Wow.
man!
Yeah,
So-
and once you put the film in the camera and close it and you start shooting, you like can't open that up again.
What the
Because
hell?
if you open it up outside and not in like a
it's
dark
done.
room,
It bursts in
it's
flame.
all gone.
It's like a
gone.
vampire.
It's just,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
That's crazy.
What the,
Wow.
how did they make those? Some guy was fishing one day and he's reeling and he's reeling. It's like, hey, we should make a camera that does this. His friend's like, yeah, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make $1 million. Yeah, good luck, buddy.
You know what? It's funny.
And
You
he's
know,
opened up the newspaper next day. Oh, damn it, he made $1 million.
it's funny, but I think Brian, if I'm wrong, you can correct me because you may have learned
Mm-hmm.
about this in school. But I think it was camera and film was discovered by accident because there was somebody. It was a fan going and there was light and I don't know the whole story, but I used
must
to
be able to Google this
and it was
check.
some sort of a light and there was some sort of chemical on some sheet or something like that, and there was this fan and the light was just happened to be hitting it the right way, and the person was seeing that it was shooting images behind it.
It sounds like another
it
one of your
kept
ghost
changing.
stories, though. It does sound
And
like
it was
your
also-
ghost stories.
It was something similar to that. I don't know the whole story, but it was.
I can
It's a
tell
very
you
interesting
how
story.
Yeah.
motion pictures were invented. So the reason they figured out that they could do motion pictures is basically a guy, I think his name was Edward Muybridge. He
Okay.
did this experiment where like there was a guy on a horse and he
Okay.
set up basically 12 cameras like at different points while the guy was like, riding his horse.
Right.
And they all took photos at like, I think different times. Mm-hmm. So it was, I think like basically a photo was like, I don't know. I think it was 12 photos within a second, basically.
Wow.
Okay.
And he just took those and put them together and realized, hey, look, it looks like movement.
Right.
So that's where you get like FPS.
Wow.
12 FPS. Yeah.
Oh wow.
12 FPS. Holy crap. 12 frames
Wow,
per
that's
second.
pretty crazy,
Yeah.
man.
12 feet per sausage. Yeah, that's that is I mean, that's pretty cool. I just know that we were terrified to start getting on camera, and then next thing you knew, we're like, all right, we need 17 cameras. We need one camera for each one of our eyeballs, and then Brian needs 4 cameras to show each one of his fingers on the as he's typing. How funny would it be to have fact check cam, see how fast Brian can type.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of that, long-winded intro, what else is Loosely Related known for? I want to welcome Brian back. Brian, how have you been up to since the live stream we had? You've just been you've been working on your own YouTube channel. You want to give a little shout out to that?
Yeah, sure. So my YouTube channel was something I've been doing on and off, and now that I have so much free time, I'm like completely on with it.
Good.
So it's called Nonsensical Cinemas. I do Nonsensical Cinemas is basically about like movies, and I do sometimes do video games, and I just kind of, it's like essay/topic/review videos. And then I have a Nonsensical Talks sports thing where I talk about sports.
Really? That's awesome, man. Well, that's pretty great. Well, listen, if you ever want to have a Loosely Related guest episode, a nonsensical, that's awesome, man. That's pretty great, man. And for everyone who didn't ask, I'm doing well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing good, guys. No, I'm all right. I'm doing fine.
As the host, you have to ask yourself.
I know, right? How you doing? I'm.
You're supposed to introduce yourself
it's your fault.
first.
No, it's your fault. Well,
right.
You're right. He's not
this happens sometimes. He's arguing with
wrong.
himself. So,
but listen, we're back, and again, like I said, Rob is not here. So Rob, he's been want to give a real shout out to Rob, and I've been the last 2 live streams. I really wanted to just sort of highlight, people talking a lot about first responders. My dad and Brian, we have the luxury of knowing someone who, and being very close and intimate with someone who really is a first responder on the front lines, and the stories that he has, and I'm sure will have when this is all said and done. It's almost like, I don't want to compare, going to war or anything like that. Not to mention, besides the fact that Rob did go to war, he was in Beirut during the Iraq, the Iraq invasion and all that. So Rob was in the military, and then he also is now serving on the front lines of the coronavirus conflict. The battle against this
invisible enemy.
That's a great way to say it. Yeah, that's the best way to say it. And really, Rob, I want to say thank you. Totally understand you couldn't be here today, but I hope everybody out there, if you're watching, you just any nurses, doctors, any EMTs. I have a couple friends that work in sanitation in New York City, and they're just they're out there every day trying to keep the city clean, and it's just it's a difficult job, and they're the heroes. And I don't know if they necessarily ever would have expected something like this to happen in their lifetime, let alone during their careers. But when it does happen, to step up the way that they have, it's really inspiring.
Oh yeah,
there was
100%.
There was a picture I saw on Facebook or Twitter. I think someone posted, and it was a picture of a bunch of health professionals. Yeah. And nurses and doctors sitting around the long table and reenacting Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper.
Yes.
And I said, wow, that's pretty amazing. I said, that one person, healthcare professional in the center, must be really, really good.
Must be really, really good. Yeah. Like you would have to be like the best, like a miracle worker, a literal
how do you choose, all those people, who's going to take Jesus' spot?
Yeah, it's like a trial.
Who's sitting in Jesus' seat? Anybody worthy of sitting in Jesus' seat here?
It'd be pretty hilarious if some just
I'd be like, I don't know, man.
It would really suck if it was like, oh, well, I'm the chief of medicine. I'm the boss. I get it.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's not fair.
No, that's not right. And then he gets struck by lightning.
That would be. I saw another one. Another picture that was awesome was a bunch of nurses and doctors walking down a hallway in the hospital, and on either side of them, kneeling down or bowing was obviously it was more of a painting again, but it was the Avengers, like all the different members of the Avengers.
Oh, really?
All kneeling down, and it's just a nice little thing to say.
One of the things I think
painted that, and it was just like wow, like it was an amazing painting.
Maybe we can get together with Rob and we can do maybe a Harry Potter one.
We'll
do all the nurses and doctors and the Harry Potters. The DA, the Dumbledore's army.
Yeah,
do a Dumbledore's army nurse.
You lost me at Harry.
All right, so
and that's it.
Did he say Harry?
I don't even know. Maybe
Harry,
not.
Yeah, well,
the Wizards of Wizards of Loosely Related podcast.
This is a trend now. It's going to be a trend.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we are going to get back to our usual stuff. We had our live streams; they were a good time. But at the end of the day, we are a podcast first and foremost. And
Yes.
we do our stuff. We have a good time. And one of the things we always talk about, and actually, as a matter of fact, one of the reasons that we wanted to come back down to this spot, my dad and I are sitting in the same two spots we sat in last time we had a
Yeah, we did. We
full
are,
episode.
actually, yeah.
We talked about
wait, I know this.
our preview of the NFL draft.
Right.
And the NFL draft, we were talking about it then, making our predictions. It was a couple weeks away, maybe even a month away. Well, for those of you who do not know, the NFL draft was just this past Thursday. We don't really try to pretend that we are the biggest college fans. Like, we know every player and every single stat of every college player.
I don't know any of them.
Yeah,
But
well,
I can be honest with you when it comes to watching the draft. I do.
We watch the draft, and I watch some college ball, but not really too much.
little
But I
bit.
do when it gets closer to the draft, I start looking up the players who are on the top. And of
Right.
course you have, when you have the national champions, you hear different
Yes.
players and you hear
Yeah.
more of the different players and whatnot. And
Right.
I don't pay attention to I don't watch the games really.
Right.
But when it gets closer to that draft time, I'm a big NFL fan. So is Joey, and
Yeah.
we start looking into who's the prospects, who's coming out of college right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look up some highlight films of them on YouTube, and I'll
Right.
sort of get an idea on them and stuff. And
Go to their Facebook page, friend them.
yeah,
Ask them to watch
try
Loosely Related
try
podcast.
try to get
Be
them to
on Loosely
subscribe.
Related.
Yeah,
Try to
hey,
get them
wanna
to
come on Loosely
subscribe to the
Related?
podcast channel.
I want to get Mr. Irrelevant on Loose Related Podcast. Do you guys know who Mr. Irrelevant is?
wait.
Mr. Irrelevant is the
wait.
last
No.
pick of the draft. If you are the 256th pick in the NFL draft, you are Mr. Irrelevant. There's an actual
Okay,
name
that's
for it.
All right.
what that is.
I want to
I
get
saw
that
the
guy
video about
on.
that.
Yeah, I want to get him on and just be like, so how does it feel to be that? To be that?
Yeah, really.
Be a piece of shit now.
Yeah,
We probably could. We probably have a shot at it.
Is it the world's best motivator? Is it? Like, when someone says to you, you're
don't
irrelevant.
know.
I don't
It
know.
could be. I mean, General George Custer. I just watched the thing about him on YouTube.
He was. He
Do you
was,
know he finished
the
dead
250
last
in the NFL draft.
in the NFL draft?
Yeah, I did. I,
No,
I
but-
did know that.
But
He was taken. He was taken by the
he
George
played for
Washington.
He played for the Colorado
Washington.
Indians.
There we go. Okay.
Colorado Indians.
There we go.
No, but he actually finished dead last in his class in West Point when he graduated.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
he was
honestly
like the
could-
worst student, and he was the worst student.
And he
at
was
West
Civil
Point.
War.
No.
General Custard. I
General
honestly
Custard
don't know.
was.
As embarrassing as that might be
I
to
think
say.
he may have been during the Civil War, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was
He must have been
because
some war.
yes, it was. He was in during the Civil War. He was, and then out in, when he the last
What was he general of?
General
Oh, you know-
Custer, Custer's last stand was 1876.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
78,
Hey, wait.
and
Didn't he die? He got like all of his men killed.
Yeah,
and
he
stuff?
did,
Yeah,
'cause he's
so
an
I
idiot.
Mean, there you go.
yeah, that,
Yeah,
that was the
yeah.
culmination of his long, hard
So-
career.
So basically,
This is
my
why
dad-
he finished last in his class.
So that's what he was.
It finally caught up to him. All
So-
of that, he did well up to that point, and then
So-
it was
I
like,
gotta- I
"Aren't
gotta
you the guy who finished last?"
So
in
your
class?"
actual argument was, yeah, Mr. Irrelevant means you suck. That's what it was. That's what it was.
Yes,
it's,
they can't come to that.
it's not a
You
good
could do
motivator.
really well for a while, but it's eventually
like a
all
hot-
going to come crashing down.
for a hot second.
For a hot
and
second,
then
you could be
lead
the
your
best.
men into an absolute.
He
ambush,
he
and
actually
that's it.
became a general, but he started colonel. But he was an idiot. Sometimes he got demoted and what do you call it when they demote him? Court-martialed.
It's
He got
bingo.
bingo. It was bingo.
Yeah.
But
I think
yeah,
he's
he,
just demoted, right?
no, he was court-martialed a couple of times, but he ended up eventually making it into general. But then,
Right.
yeah.
It sounds like he definitely deserved his rank as bottom of the
mean-
class. He was court-martialed a few times. It said he caught him with a
Well,
couple.
yeah, I mean-
they caught him. They caught him with the head of a goat, and he was naked, had his pants down, and no one really knew what the hell he was doing. And then the day after that, he led his men into battle, and they all died.
Yes.
But anyway,
nuts.
he was general.
he made general. He made general.
No, there was some nuts generals. Like there was this one guy at Gettysburg.
Yeah.
He was basically a general because he was a politician and had the money to get his
Right.
own division or whatever.
Sure.
Right.
And they had the line, like the Union Army had their own line at Gettysburg. And
Yeah.
this one guy was like, "I'm not gonna go there." And they're like, But if you go where you want to go, you're gonna have no one on your right and no one on your left, and you're just gonna be alone a mile in front of our line.
Right.
No, he's
Right.
like, I'm gonna go right there. Like,
Right
okay. And he got his leg blown off.
Oh,
and he
wow.
got pushed all the way back to where the line was anyways.
Yeah.
And,
There you
yeah.
go. You came back without a leg. Good for you.
Dan-
That's what I wanted. I wanted my leg
Dan
gone.
Sickle,
I didn't
okay.
want that leg. I got another leg.
I got another leg.
I got two legs. What do I care?
Yeah.
Dude was nuts.
That's
Yeah.
that's pretty great. So I mean, if you're Mr. Relevant, you probably deserve it. That's the end. The moral of the story. All right. Anyway, so the Giants did have their draft, and of course, as you know, we're Giants fans. I got my Giants hat on. Ironically, I'm not actually a Giants fan. No, they had their draft, and we were looking forward to it. We talked a lot about it on that last episode 38. I figured we'd talk a little bit about it. Again, the NFL draft is fun. Now, the NFL draft is 7 rounds, and that I think is 6 rounds too many. But that's just me personally, because I have a short attention span.
Yeah.
You haven't figured out from this podcast yet.
Me,
so,
I have the short attention span. I don't even know what we're talking about.
You don't even know
right
what you're. But I definitely think that the Giants had a decent draft. I was happy with that. I know Rob was not here to talk about it, but I know Rob was really hoping they were going to take Terrell Owens. I know he had
Terrell Owens.
He really wanted Terrell Owens.
He did want Terrell Owens.
He was really hoping that O.J. Simpson was going to make a comeback. He was going to be able to get O.J. back.
O.J., he was hoping he at least got out of jail, which I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah, well, to play for the Giants.
Yeah, I don't even know if he made it out of jail, but
no.
He's on his way.
But no, realistically, I think the Giants, I was a little bit shocked with their first pick. So Giants, for those of you who do not know, the Giants had the 4th pick in the draft this year after having a really solid year at blowing the 2nd overall pick.
Yeah,
had the 2nd overall pick.
It was a brilliant.
We want to win 4 games.
It was a typical Giants season.
Know how to tank.
Which you don't. Why do you want to win 4? Because 4 is bigger than 2.
Yeah,
2 is a better number because you'd be higher.
You would be higher, but it wouldn't have mattered. They still would have gotten that guy at the 4th round anyway.
Yeah, they probably would have done it.
Would have gotten the same guy probably.
Well, at that point, not that it would have been smart, but they could have gotten Tua or Herbert. But I think Jones is like the guy you want to go with.
I think at least for now he probably is the guy. I know that a lot of people were speculating way back when they weren't sure if they were going to get the 4th pick. There were some people speculating they might take Justin Herbert because he kind of fits that scheme. But anyway,
what am I saying? They could have taken him anyways because they were taking it 5 and 6.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, but I mean that was actually in the conversation though. It was like if the Giants were not going to get the 4th pick, it was definitely in the conversation. But I believe on that episode 38, I had predicted the Giants were going to take Isaiah Simmons. That was the linebacker out of Clemson. Yes. And to be honest with you, in hindsight, I'm glad they didn't. And I know it's kind of a weird thing to say. A lot of Giants fans don't necessarily agree with that, but he's not really a linebacker. He really is a safety. He's fast and he's strong, but he's not really big. And I don't think he really is a linebacker at heart. I think he really is more of like a nickel player, kind of like a Landon Collins type player, and that's fine, but you don't need him at a position like that. Right. So the Giants took a offensive tackle with a 4th pick in the NFL draft, and now what was shocking is, and I remember my dad and I sitting there watching it live with a couple of my friends, and there was 3 guys that I was. There was 4 basically tackles, offensive tackles that were at the top. They were like the 4 best in years in prospects.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
And the 3 of them I thought they were going to take. They did not take. They mentioned the 4th guy. The one guy was like, I don't think they're going to take that guy. They're like, fuck you, Joe Haslam. We're going to take that guy. Yeah, that's what happened.
So
they took Andrew Thomas from Georgia with the 4th pick, and I wasn't upset because again we knew it was good because he was one of the 4. But you and I were like, I'm surprised they took him. He was not number 1.
Well, I didn't know who he was, and I'm like, I just didn't even know what to think about the pick because it's like.
So they could have gotten, in your opinion, a better tackle at that spot.
So in
hindsight, maybe
probably not.
But at the time, I mean, there is still. I would still say that probably Tristan Wirfs, I believe he played for Iowa, was the right tackle who was the number 1 prospect for offensive tackles. And I thought they were going to take him. I really did. I thought he was going to be the guy they were going to go with, and they did not. Now, I really do believe part of that is because this guy, Andrew Thomas, really is a great on both tackle positions. So there's left tackle, there's right tackle, and then
he can play both sides of the. He can play both.
And then
sides.
there's McDonald's tackle. There's end zone tackle.
Yeah,
there's parking lot tackle,
and then there's the.
What else we got? Can we think of anything
else? There's the bulger.
What else?
Bulger.
What else was gonna? Yeah.
It's the bulger and and the snitch.
Let's think of some other things that alienate some more viewers.
The bludger and the snitch.
Harry Potter references.
The bludger,
satisfying audiences for years. Loosely related podcast.
Yes.
All right, but realistically, he's great.
I was close.
Yeah, you're really great. But realistically, he is great on both sides of
yeah.
of the offensive line, left tackle, right tackle, and he can play both equally well. And I think there is a plan here. So now, one of the big things I keep hearing about this draft class is that it really is a plan for 2021. And I could see that.
Yeah.
I see that a lot.
Yep.
I see that they got a guy like this. Now, what was so crazy is they took this guy, and then with the 3rd round pick Giants had, they took another offensive tackle, and it was a little unexpected. A guy by the name of Matt Pert from UConn. And apparently he really is like a true left tackle. He doesn't really play right tackle. So the theory is that this guy Nate Solder that we got made him ridiculously high paid left tackle. We don't know how many more years he has left on his contract. You know, he did not really pan out the way that he was supposed to. This guy tried to coach him up a little bit, the guy we got in the 3rd round, and it is very possible that if he turns out well, he might take over at left tackle next year. Andrew Thomas stays at right tackle, and next thing you know, if it all works out, we have a legitimate top-tier elite offensive line.
They're saying that I think it's Solder that, depending on other position players on the offensive line, that Nate Solder might not. He might be a salary cap
franchise
casualty.
Franchise tag. Were you saying? Oh no, a
casualty.
penalty. A penalty. A salary cap penalty. Yeah,
they might actually.
Yeah, no, because we did make him ridiculously high paid, so we would not be able to get
him. Right?
We would not be able to.
A
year.
Yeah, we would not be able to get rid of him. I think it was next year. I believe his tenure is up, and I think we do have the option to make him a restricted free agent next year.
All right.
I think that's the idea.
I think 2022 he was under free agency.
He was under free agency. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
The contract.
I'm not sure. Restricted free agent, I think, is a little bit different. I think it's that. I'm not sure how that works exactly.
Restricted free, and this is funny because I kind of learned this from playing MLB The Show.
Okay, there we go. Perfect.
Restricted free agent, from what I understand, is that basically you get the first chance to offer them a new contract.
Okay.
Right.
So let's say that I had James Paxton on my team because I'm a baseball player. It's what I know.
Yeah.
And now his contract's over. Restricted free agent would mean that since he's been with my team, or he's old enough, he's a veteran, and he's been with my team for a while, I now have the first chance to be like, here's a contract, if you want it. And then usually what'll happen is they can, I think, deny that contract, and then they'll go into the bigger free agency if they really don't want to stay with the team.
Right. Okay.
That makes sense. All right. Well, in that case, I don't think I don't know if they'll keep him or not, but I could see that they're definitely building. They had some pretty interesting picks. So now the big one that I was so thrilled about was the guy, our 2nd round pick. So the Giants had an early 2nd round pick. Obviously, we had an early 1st round pick, and in the 2nd round we got a safety from out of Alabama. Which, if you don't know anything about college football, Alabama really is, pretty much every year considered the best team. They don't always make it, but they usually are ranked right near number 1, if not number 1. Nick Saban is, besides Bill Belichick, Nick Saban is considered one of the greatest coaches probably in the history of football.
Okay.
And this guy is a safety out of Alabama. His name is Xavier McKinney.
Yeah.
And this guy, I was so happy. So first of all, this guy was the number 1 rated safety in the draft, and he fell to the 2nd round. Number 1 rated safety, Mel Kiper, who I believe to be like the, basically the
he was the first safety taken in the draft, which is pretty crazy.
First safety taken in the draft.
He fell to the 2nd round.
He fell. The Giants were trying to trade up to get him. But the 1st round was so cornerback heavy that he fell. And he would just happen to fall right into the laps of the Giants. So for those of you who also do not know, the last time we ever traded up to get a safety in the 2nd round was when we traded up a couple of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. We traded up to get Landon Collins with the 1st pick in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
Another safety out of Alabama under Nick Saban.
And
he was all pro for us, a Pro Bowler almost every single year. Amazing, one of the best safeties we ever had. And this guy is apparently really, really good. My dad and I were watching his highlight film the other night. Remember?
Yeah, no, he looks really good. And,
super fast, strong.
And also you said, I think you were the one who told me that the coach of Alabama, Nick Saban, called up the Giants and said, because there was something about him not making the... he didn't make his run time
at the combine, yes.
Was a 4.5?
4.5, yes.
And he didn't have a great combine, but the coach called up the Giants coach, Joe Judge, and said, "Listen, man, I don't care what happened at the combines.
He runs a 4.4.
He runs a 4.4.
I've seen him.
Best I've had.
I had him for years
since Landon Collins.
Something along those lines, apparently.
And,
but he did say that he runs a 4.4.
He runs a 4.4. I've seen him run these fast.
So he ran a really slow combine, but apparently
4.63.
But apparently on his pro day, Brian, I don't know if you can look that up or not, but apparently he has run faster. He's been clocked faster. Some people said that he might have put on some weight. He might have been under the weather for his combine.
Yeah.
But he apparently is faster than what it indicates. If it's not a 4.4, it's like a 4.51.
When
it's
Saban
right
called
there.
him, Joe Judge, that's all he needed to hear, and that's when he grabbed him. He's like, all right, good.
So the Giants, I think, made some good picks there, and then they finished up heavily with linebackers.
Well, they picked up, like you said, that guy Pearl, right? I mean, he was the third, or Pert.
Offensive tackle.
The offensive tackle, Matt Pert, from what I've read, according to some of at least one article that I read.
Yeah. Sorry about
that they're hoping this guy is going to go ahead, Brian.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, before we go on, do you want me to read the definition of the restricted free agent?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So it says a restricted free agent is the type of free agent that has special restrictions on the terms under which they can retain or change employment status with their athletic club teams.
Okay.
There's usually one with 3 or fewer accrued seasons, 6 or more regular season games with the team of service, who has received a qualifying offer from his current club. He can negotiate with any club through a certain date. If the restricted free agent accepts an offer sheet from a new club, his old club has right of first refusal, a first day period in which it may match the offer and retain him.
Wow, so they can even refuse it. Holy shit.
I guess, yeah. So it's more than what I thought.
So basically, Brian gets an offer from Joe Rogan. Hey, you want to come be my producer? We get first, he's restricted free agent. We get to say, no, we're going to refuse it. Brian, we're going to offer you $5.
Yeah.
He's offering me $500,000. All right.
Well,
$7.
I guess $7.
$7.50 an hour. What's that? All right, fine. $7.25 an hour.
But we get to choose the hour that we pay you.
Yeah, right.
Yes. There you go.
That's good. Nice, clever.
There you go.
But anyway, this guy Matt Pearl, from what I've understand, is they're hoping that this guy can step in and play for
Solder,
for Nate Solder.
Yeah,
and then. Of course, Andrew Thomas can go in on the other side of the line.
Yeah.
And, things hopefully will work out.
I think, it's going to be great for that way, and that should be working out pretty good.
I wouldn't normally say this, but I think that they
good.
may actually have a good offensive line this year.
It's a weird thing to say. We haven't said that probably since 2007. It was the last time I remember saying it.
I think that they might, because they're so heavily invested in the offensive line. The only problem is they don't have anything else. They didn't really invest in anything else, especially defense. They didn't.
Besides Xavier McKinney. I mean, Xavier McKinney is a big upgrade. They did get now. What I was going to say. So in free agency, they did address the defense. We did get Blake Martinez from Brian, can you double check Blake Martinez on the Giants? It's where he's from. I forget what team he's from, but we did get him middle linebacker. The Packers, Brian. I'm sorry, he's from the Packers. Yeah. Blake Martinez, middle linebacker, amazing middle linebacker. Had the most tackles at middle linebacker position last year. We got him in free agency. Big move. We got this guy Xavier McKinney. We did take a cornerback. So now the other thing that I think
the inside of the line, the inside of the defense is going to be pretty set up because you have
the guy we got.
Xavier
Dexter
McKinney.
Lawrence is there.
And you also have the guy we picked up last year. I can't think of his
BJ
name.
Hill might be his name.
No, what's
possibly.
his name? Hold on.
I don't know.
Jabril Peppers?
Jabril Peppers.
We traded for Jabril Peppers.
Right. So we got him there. And then also the guy, Julian Thomas.
Yes.
Julian Love.
Julian Love is a cornerback.
And he was a fourth-round pick from last year. And he actually really showed some real streaks last year. So they're hoping he can step in. So the inside of the defense, the inside of the field is going to be pretty much covered by the Giants.
Forgot about him. Yeah, he's very good. He's very underrated. A lot of people were shocked he made it to the fourth round. I remember that now.
Yeah, so I think we're good there, but we don't have. I mean,
the biggest thing is the pass rush, right?
Yeah.
So the pass rush is not great. So now, also, ironically, episode 38, Rob, we're sitting here, and Rob had mentioned to me, "Hey, did you hear the Giants might get Jadeveon Clowney?" And I was like, "Really?" And I was like, "That's kind of weird." And we were watching his 40-yard dash. Remember, we watched that. We were looking at that. So now it's looking like it might be even more possible because the Giants, if you can tell, based on all their picks, they did not address the defensive line except maybe they might have taken one. I don't even remember, Brian. If you want to scroll.
Here, let me see.
The defensive line. I don't think
they didn't take. They just took linebackers. They didn't take anybody.
They took offensive tackle, safety, offensive tackle,
and then
cornerback,
3 linebackers.
guard, and then a bunch of
And then 1, 2, 3, 4
the cornerback
linebackers,
first.
four
and then another
linebackers,
cornerback.
another cornerback. All right. Yeah, so they did not address the defensive line. Well, Jadeveon Clowney's still available. He's still out there. It would be interesting. The problem, if you remember us talking about on episode 38, was that he's not going to be cheap. And I just don't know if a guy with his injury history is really going to be worth a lot of money. You know, we just got rid of Olivier Vernon. We paid him all that money.
Yeah.
I just don't know. But beyond that, the Giants, I think overall, I'd give their draft personally at least a B+. I enjoyed their draft, maybe a B, just because I didn't like the fact that they did so many linebackers. I was kind of shocked by that.
Well, here's the thing: the law of averages is going to say that one of those linebackers is going to turn out to be pretty
Yeah.
decent.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I bet you that will happen too.
the law of averages also says one of them is going to be the next General
Who
Custer.
wants to take a bet on who they? One of those 4 linebackers. We'll take a.
Oh, that's not a hey, that's not a bad
Why don't we
idea.
do a bet? We'll each
Let's
take
do a
one
bet
of them.
right now. We'll each pick one. I'll pick one for Rob. And here's the bet. Okay, if at the end of next, we'll say at the end of next season, if
Yes.
whichever one of those linebackers are still with the Giants, meaning that they're still there, and it doesn't matter if they get released halfway through the year, we won't look at it until the end of the year. Whichever one of those linebackers is still on the team, whoever's linebacker gets kicked off the team, they lose the bet and they have to do a punishment. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, so ready? We'll go. We'll do it by youngest first. Brian, you pick your which guy
I
you
get the
wanna
last pick, huh?
You get the last
Okay.
pick.
So
Damn
I
it, dude.
don't know.
Why don't we go from oldest to youngest?
Because you mentioned General Custard, so you're last. There you go.
There we
It's your
go.
fault. Blame General Custard.
I think we should do. One of those things. We can't. I don't know
One
if
of
we
those
can
things.
do
I
it.
think we should just
We
punch
just
each
pat our
other in
head.
the face.
No, we
Punch-
do. We rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
Rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
And whoever
No,
wins.
I think we're
All right,
good. We're
Brian
just too-
picks
Listen,
first.
my brain can only handle
Okay.
so much math. All right.
All right.
I
All right.
guess I'll just. I mean, here's the thing: is with drafts, is that just because you get picked earlier doesn't necessarily mean you're better. Because
course.
Right. Exactly.
you know,
You never know.
people might just have a higher upside.
Hey,
to
look at
take
Tom
longer to get
Brady.
there.
Tom Brady is 162 years old, and he's like
Oh,
the
yeah.
second best quarterback in the league still. So.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. But that being said, I am going because I know nothing about these guys.
Yeah.
Cam Brown.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to take T.J. Brunson out of South Carolina.
T.J. Brunson.
All right, T.J. Brunson. If you are there next year, you're my new favorite player. I'll buy your jersey. That's my deal.
All right.
All right,
So you're
Rob. I'm
pick
going
for
to
Rob?
pick for Rob. Rob's going to take. I'm going to give Rob Tate Crowder.
All right, good, because I was going to take Carter Coughlin.
Carter.
You know why?
Coughlin.
Because it's Carter
Crowder.
and it's 2 C's in the name.
Yeah,
so
there
it's
you
CC.
go.
It's almost like a
CC.
Marvel character.
Yeah.
So he's going to be like a Marvel
Actually, kind of
character.
is. Yeah, I guess Carter. Yeah.
Carter
Sure.
Coughlin.
You could see it. Yeah.
And his last name is Coughlin, so he could be the son of
Tom Coughlin.
Tom
Coughlin.
Coughlin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which
Yeah.
so he could already be like a
He could
royalty to NFL. So they're not.
Well,
gonna
he's
get rid of him
definitely a
anyway.
royalty. He's probably 970 years old.
Yeah, it's
Tom
possible.
Coughlin's about.
Oh yeah, he
4
could, well, he
million
could be
years
Tom
old.
Coughlin's great grandson,
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. All right.
Best
so
case scenario.
Carter Coughlin. We'll have to note those, and I'm going to have to do some,
Football. All right, cool. Anyway,
football on that.
so besides that, we had the NFL draft. We got Joe Burrow taking number 1 overall. Happy for the kid. Seems like a really good guy.
Been a lot of
quarterback
hype
out of LSU. We had. I'll just go through the top 5 real quick. So the top 5 of the NFL draft in general. We had Joe Burrow taking number 1 out of LSU quarterback. We had Chase Young, the defensive end out of Ohio State, taking number 2. Jeff Okudah was one of the guys the Giants might have been looking at. Cornerback out of Ohio State, really good cornerback. And of course, the Giants had Andrew Thomas at number 4. And this is the guy that everyone wanted to say, I just said that guy's name. I got to look it up phonetically. Number 5 out of Alabama was a quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua
Tagovailoa.
Tua Tagovailoa. That is the quarterback taken. I believe it was taken by the Miami Dolphins.
That just doesn't sound like a successful
Yeah.
quarterback name, does it?
I think it sounds like The Rock,
Yeah, it
Dwayne
does.
Johnson. So
You're going to
yes.
see him in like.
It's funny you say that
He's
though,
gonna
because I
be-
do that. I listen to quarterback names and I'm like, does that sound like a?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
No.
Tua Tagovailoa sounds like he's going to be the main character in Hobbs and Shaw 2.
Yeah.
The main
Yes.
villain. But anyway, so that's the NFL draft. We'll talk about that. We figure we want to go ahead and just touch on it a little bit because we talked about it. And sometimes
I know
it's
we
good
talked
to
about it. So
talk
sometimes
about
you just need
things
to
that
talk.
we gotta talk about.
You need to talk about things to get things off your chest
There we
once in a
go.
while. So we
Yes.
got that off our chest.
We did indeed. So you know what? We're going to...
Some of the other interesting things we wanted to mention, though, don't forget.
What is that?
I want to talk about Tom Brady and
Oh, you're right. We did talk about...
Gronkowski
Oh, we didn't
playing
really
for
discuss the
Tampa
fact
Bay.
that, so for all of you New Englanders out
yeah.
there, just want to let out a collective ha 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 because
Yes, we do.
it's pretty freaking hilarious that your guy went from Boston
Boston.
to Florida. He's playing in Tampa.
Yeah.
And how weird is it going to be opening day, whatever you want to call it, first day of open NFL Sunday weekend, when he's wearing a red jersey with a pirate flag on it and the number 12 in white. It's going to be so weird. Tom Brady is now playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
It's going to be so strange. And Rob Gronkowski is going to actually probably play the first game, and then that's probably it for the rest
That's
of the
nuts.
season.
Well, that's a
More
whole
than
nother
likely.
thing, too. So Rob Gronkowski
He'll get hurt
was
in the
a...
first game and be out for the next 7 or 8 games. And then
Yeah,
he'll come
well,
back and play
no, but
one
he's
and-
fine now. He's a wrestler. So
Oh,
Rob
all right.
Gronkowski was a professional wrestler. He was in the WWE.
Seriously?
He was. Yep, he was there. I watched WrestleMania this year. It was actually pretty awesome. They did it without a crowd. It was pretty cool with it. They did it actually. No joke. It's fun to watch. Anyway, he's an announcer there, and he was getting ready to be in the ring and do all that stuff. And then he's like, you know what? Tom Brady's going to the Tampa Bay. I just didn't like Boston. I hate those winners. But if he's going to be in Tampa, I'll go to Tampa. And they're like, what do you mean you still play football? Like they were like, and now like I'm saying like the owner of the Patriots is like, wait, do we? Oh yeah, you're still on contract. I didn't even realize that.
That's what
Wow.
confused me. It's
Yeah.
like I was like, he got traded to Tampa Bay.
Right, he got traded.
Like-
Yep, he got traded. It's
Wow.
the weirdest thing. He was still technically, I guess, because he was retired, but he came out of retirement and you rejoined the team you played for, so it's like a complicated thing. And yeah, so he was traded to the Bucks, and now Rob Gronkowski, and it's literally 2008 again.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Rob Gronk. It's just that it's now
Another
it's taking
interesting
place
thing in football, too, is
Florida man territory.
I think, yeah. So we'll have to see what
The
happens
new
with that.
Florida man is Rob Gronkowski, Brian.
Yes.
That's what I was going to say.
There we
We're
go.
going to have to redo our Florida man segment. Just Rob Gronkowski arrested today because he thought that Gatorade was the cure for coronavirus.
It was like that catcher from the Blue Jays who went to Florida and then got
Yeah.
caught like pleasuring himself in his car. He got arrested.
Well, you know, freaking Aaron Hernandez was the Florida man for a hot second. He went to Miami. He watched that
Oh, there's
documentary.
that whole docu. Yes, on
yeah.
Netflix.
Yep, that's some crazy stuff, man.
So anyway, the other interesting thing I'm just going
Wanna
to
throw it
double
out
check
there
it for
real
me,
quick?
Brian. But
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch, who originally played for the Seattle Seahawks and then left, retired, came back into league, started playing for the Oakland Raiders, who are now the Las
Vegas
Raiders.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now he is, I think, playing for the Seattle Seahawks again. Although he won't
That's
see
correct.
much fields, but he is playing for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yep,
He'll be playing
that's right.
behind Chris.
Chris Carson is
Chris
the guy's
Carson,
name.
yes.
Yeah, he will
But
be
actually
playing
says he's
behind
a
Chris
free
Carson.
agent.
He
Yeah.
is a free agent. I believe it's still speculation. I don't know if he's going for sure, but that was the rumor.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's the NFL draft. Just sort of wrap it up real quick, talk about it very briefly. We're going to, I think, take a quick break. We will be right back. And then when we get back, I got some interesting stuff. Rob is not going to be here, which again, we totally understand. I'm glad he's not here because most of them center around the private photo album I have of Rob. That he
Yeah,
doesn't
we're gonna
know
have
I
a lot of fun with
Rob.
that.
Basically, yeah.
We're going to have a lot
Pretty
of
much
fun with
what
that.
it
You
is.
can't wait to see that. So
right.
enjoy the commercial. We'll
Enjoy
be
the
back in a
commercial.
minute.
We will be right back.
Hey, Loosely Related Podcast listeners. It's 2020, the year of change. We don't care if you're independent, Republican, Democrat, or whatever, as long as you're listening to Loosely Related Podcast.
And we here at Loosely Related Podcast thank you for listening to us and appreciate your continued support. Don't forget to like and subscribe on. And where can they like and subscribe, Joe?
Well, if you want, you can like and subscribe on all of our social media platforms, which is at Instagram at loosely_related. You can find us on Twitter at LRPodcast. That's POCASTS. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Google Play Music. And you can watch us on YouTube. And if you want, you can always drop us a line at our email, looselyrelatedpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah!
All right, welcome back to the
All right.
podcast. We are back
We are
after
back
that
again.
after that nice break. So, we're back from our quarantine upstairs. I mean, like we're down here.
Well,
so
yeah,
it's
this is where we
Brian's
come-
still right where he's supposed to be.
Haven't moved.
He has not. He's literally been there since I don't think he ever went to Tennessee. I think literally from the last time we had it, like he was here for an episode, he just went there and he's just been there.
I think so.
Yeah, that's all I know.
It's kind of like when he was
yeah.
in the basement, trapped a little bit, and he couldn't get out of there. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So-
he's sort of like one of those people where it's like, what is it like? It's like the hobbits in the Shire. They never leave the Shire.
Yes.
This is like,
Well,
that's what
yep.
it is.
the one Hobbit's not here on our podcast right now.
Yeah, well, that's because he's at his other hobbit hole.
He's at the Hobbit hole.
Hobbit. But anyway, we are doing I wanted to do some new things. We've been trying new stuff. We did a live stream, played Jackbox Party Pack. I hope you guys had a good time doing
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
We have some fun things that we do. We had some recurring segments, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. So we had some plans for an episode before this coronavirus thing happened, and it was actually going to be, I think we had mentioned before, our St. Patty's Day special. And we were looking so forward to it. I had this whole thing planned about it.
Right there, man.
St. Patty's Day themed. But I wanted to bring back the concept. I think the concept is something that's fun. So now what we're going to do here is this. This is going to be a little segment that's a new thing we do here, and it's going to be called Loosely Related Would You Rather. And this
Would You
concept is going to be,
Rather.
we're going to go around the room, and I was not going to involve myself. I was just going to do you guys, but this time I think I will involve me because Rob's not
Yeah.
here. So I'm going to go around the room. I'm going to start with you, Dad. We're going to go to Brian, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to throw you guys out there some ridiculous, outlandish would you rather questions.
Of course.
And
Is
we're
it
going to
gonna
see
do
how
an
you
adult
guys feel
version of
about
that,
it.
or-
It's going to be, I have like about 400 I can pick from. So don't worry. Listen, I know we're not freaking Deadpool 2.
All right.
But we're also not Frozen 2.
No, we're not.
So we're loosely related to. That's what we are.
Loose related too.
Oh,
So
the
we're
sequels.
not better than the original, and the original
did-
wasn't that good to begin with. So
we didn't-
that's just what
okay.
it is,
All
right,
right.
there. Yeah,
So we'll just have.
we're like
have
the
to be
Godfather
better.
Part 3. It's like who really asked for this? It's okay, but like I didn't need it.
Yeah.
Like it was fine. It was fine the way it was.
Right.
Everybody was okay. Francis, chill out, bro. We get it. You like Mafia. Okay, cool.
Yeah, seriously.
Anyway, so we're going to start right off the bat, and it's going to be a good one. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to, I'm going to try to make these relevant for everybody around me because I have a very quick wit
Mr.
and a very
Relevant.
quick,
Yes.
a quick brain.
And all
so I
of you
can
people
adjust
out there.
things. Yeah. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and Dad, we're going to start with you. So the first loosely related would you rather is, Dad, would you rather get explosive diarrhea every time you have to meet your boss or every time you meet your children's teachers?
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Well, I can already answer this. He's already had explosive diarrhea every time he met one of my teachers. It was just really ironic. Oh, yeah, sorry, I can't go. I'm not going to be able to go to the open house. I have explosive diarrhea.
Yeah, but it would be.
he
I'd have
didn't
to
give a
meet-
shit. It was like, no, it's like, I'm
I
sorry.
did give a shit, obviously.
Oh, look at you. All right. He gets one. He always gets one in every
Guess
episode.
one. Yes.
He always gets one in, and it sucks up all the energy the rest of the podcast. And I
does.
apologize, and that's it. That's all of it.
It
It's
does.
gone now.
It does.
That's pretty much it.
But I would probably say with the teachers because I already have experience with that, so I know what it's
You
like.
do. But then, but your boss
I don't
probably
remember
wouldn't even
actually.
care. I don't think the boss would care. Explosive diarrhea in front of you every time you have to say you see your boss, or every time you have to see your kids' teachers.
Well, see, I only have to see my kids' teachers once a year. My boss I have to see every day.
Yeah.
So if I had explosive diarrhea every single day,
Right, that's a good point.
I'd rather-
see, you're thinking about it practically.
yes,
See,
I'd
that's
rather
the
have
right way to
explosive
approach it.
diarrhea about as much
That's
times as
the
I
right
usually
way
do in a
to
year
approach it.
anyway. So.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So
All
I
right.
could save my once a year explosive diarrhea for meeting my son's teacher,
Yeah,
which I
that's
never
fair.
will either because my sons are all now in college and I'll never meet
is
their
true.
teachers
Right,
unless
that's
it's their
true.
graduation, maybe.
Yeah,
So,
and even then, it's like no.
so that was actually an easy one.
It was. All right, so Brian,
there you
this one is especially difficult considering it's quarantine,
Quarantainment.
and I was going to say quarantainment, but it's that's
This
that's
is
a
quarantine.
loosely
This is
related
loosely.
trademark, so
This
Exactly.
is.
can't
Yes.
say that
Well,
anymore.
All right.
Here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
If I like my boss,
Oh, I was going to ask you a different one, Brian.
No,
actually, I'm
different
sorry. No,
question
I'm
for
asking
you.
you.
Oh,
I'm
different
at-
question.
Different
you're
question for you.
Brian. You're getting your own individual, unique question. Man.
Yes,
Oh, I love it.
No
Even
worries.
better.
All right, here we go. And again, this is a quarantine special. So, Brian, would you rather have the best house in a shitty neighborhood or the worst house in a fancy neighborhood?
Oh, easy. Worst house in the fancy neighborhood.
Really? Okay. Now, but so now we as individuals have to figure out, what does that mean? Does it mean like you get the worst mansion, or does it mean like you like?
Well, there you
Is that
go.
what
You
that
didn't
means?
specify, so you
Yeah,
can imagine
exactly.
whatever you
So-
want, I suppose, right?
The best house in a shitty neighborhood means that you could get the best mansion, but you're just in a shitty neighborhood. So it's like you
I
have
don't
the
think
worst,
there's mansions in a shitty neighborhood though.
but well, I mean maybe
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like, are we
the
talking
city of
about,
Newburgh
like-
has mansions.
Well, here's the thing though.
the shittiest house in a nice neighborhood is probably still a nice house in most neighborhoods.
Right.
Could be.
Yeah.
And that's what
But
I'm
is
saying,
it a,
man.
is it a bad neighborhood because of it has like high taxes? Is it expensive, or
It's
is it
a
a bad
bad-
neighborhood because of the people?
There's
But
a
the best
really
house- the
aggressive
best-
gang of raccoons that hang out by the trash can, and they're just super violent,
Okay.
and they're affiliated with MS-13.
And it goes just the same for having the best house in the worst neighborhood, because that could be just a really shitty house in
Exactly.
most other neighborhoods that are just average neighborhoods.
right.
So that's actually an
so-
easy question.
I guess so. Yeah.
I don't
All
need
right.
to like the best house.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
If it's a great neighborhood and it's the worst house,
Take
Yeah.
that.
I can
All right.
settle with that.
Yeah.
All right, so then, Dad, I'm gonna let you. I got 3 ones right here. I got 3. You can pick one of those for me.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
read any one of those? You pick one of them.
Okay.
Just you
Ooh,
can just.
all right. I'm going to
yeah.
pick, let's see.
Man, these are all pretty brutal. I don't. I
No,
really
yeah.
hope. I kind of.
Are you reading them? Don't read them. I'm going to read them to you.
You just
I
gotta
can't
pick.
help it. I have I automatically read when I look at things.
You just
No,
gotta-
that's not
All right.
true.
Count to 5 and pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather die saving 10,000 strangers from death, knowing no one would ever know it was you, or live knowing everyone you know decided not to save 10,000 people's lives?
That's a weird question. So the question is, would you rather die saving 10,000 strangers from death, knowing no one would ever know it was you, or live knowing everyone would know you decided not to save 10,000 people's
okay.
lives?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus. Well, wow, that's a tough one, man. Holy crap.
It's a tough one. That's why I chose
Ooh,
it.
I mean,
Have
I'm
fun
a
with
pretty.
that.
I mean, what do you do? I mean, what would happen to Loosely? I don't think anybody would care, because they would say, "Well, I mean, if you died, we wouldn't get Loosely Related podcasts anymore." So
Okay,
it's like
that's fair.
it's like kind of like
It would be a really good
I think
topic
everyone-
to
I
talk
think-
about on Loosely Related
it would be.
podcast, too.
I think every person would collectively say, "Listen, it sucks that 10,000 people died, but what are we going
But
to do
it's
without
for
Loosely
the
Related
good of the
podcast?"
show, yeah.
It's like,
Well, isn't that kind of what they're doing to
whatever
Trump
else
right
is
now
there.
anyway?
yeah, I
They're kind of
guess so.
blaming 10,000
Are you trying to
people's
say that I'm
lives on
Donald
him.
Trump? Listen, man. All right, I am my own host of Loosely Related podcast. All right,
All right.
and that is a unique title that I bear with 2 other people.
2 other people.
So
3 other people.
I'm gonna go with I would rather live knowing everyone knew I decided not to save 10,000 people because I'm a terrible person. Oh my god.
Okay.
Well,
Listen,
that's
you had the
it.
courage to say that.
All right, Dad, would you rather have no fingers or no eyes? No fingers or no eyes? Which would you rather have?
No fingers or no eyes. I would rather have no fingers because it doesn't say. It doesn't.
You already don't have any eyes right now. You have to wear glasses. So
No, I have to read reading glasses. I don't
Reading
need
glasses.
glasses. But I would rather have no. I would rather have. What does it say? No fingers or no eyes?
yeah, you're having a really hard time remembering these things.
No.
Maybe
no,
I should ask you: would you rather have no memory
'cause
or no
the-
memory?
It was the wording of the question. Can you read the question?
Reread the question. Fingers or eyes? Pick one.
No, but would you rather have no fingers?
Yeah.
Dude, why are you having a hard time understanding this question? It's,
No, because you read the question a different way. I think
read
the first time.
I
wanted-
literally said, "Would you rather have no fingers or no
All right.
eyes?"
So no fingers.
That's like, would you rather? Which fingers?
thought you said,
All
would
of
you
them.
rather have-
But which ones of all of them?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to read into.
Okay, I'd rather
was
have
trying-
no toes.
Trying to read into that. No
You
fingers.
know what? You're right.
All right, I'd rather have no fingers
I'd
rather,
rather
than
be
no
able
eyes.
to fly.
I'd rather have no fingers. So I think that's how you read it the first time, right? And you read it.
Yeah.
I'd rather have no fingers because that doesn't specify which fingers, even though it says no fingers.
Okay.
So it could be I'd rather have no pinky fingers or no middle fingers or no thumbs fingers,
I'm pretty
but
sure
not.
they mean
It
all
doesn't
fingers.
say all fingers. It doesn't
Right.
specify that. So
Okay, that is
Well,
fair.
you're
doesn't
that guy
specify
that is
all
so
fingers. It says, would you
unboring to
rather have
play
no
with.
fingers? No fingers could mean
He's
just
that
two
guy that
of them.
says,
Two index
I know
fingers.
you said
I have no
you said stop
index
touching
fingers.
me. I'm not technically touching. That's the kind of guy he is.
I
He's
have
the guy
no
everyone
index
loves to
fingers.
be friends
That's it.
with. Everyone loves to be friends. Like, I'm not touching you. Yeah, but technically, I'm not touching you.
I
though.
do that all the time.
But technically,
I did. I used to do that all the time.
you do. And by used to, you mean like yesterday.
I still do.
All right, Brian, ready? Here we go. Would you rather crap your pants in public once a year for the rest of your life, or crap yourself in private every day for the rest of your life?
I kind of do that already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't ask you. Notice I didn't ask you that question. Like, that's boring. Like saying, would you rather have been born in 1910 or 1877? My dad was born in
Both times, so
doesn't matter.
I was around at both
He was
times.
around. Who cares?
I could have been born at both times too. for all
So
I know.
it's once a year in public.
Or every day in private.
I think I'd rather do public, like the power that you have just to be like once a year.
Once
You
a
just
year.
like, I don't know, like like I wonder, like, can you like make it really bad?
I
just
would. I'm going to go ahead and say that if you do it in public, it's going to be people can hear it, they can smell it, you can't hide it. You're probably in the middle of like Times Square on, when the Rockefeller Center, New Year's Eve.
Wasn't there a?
My anniversary with my girlfriend is on New Year's Eve.
So there you go. Right when you're about to kiss, it's 4, 3, 2. It's like, oh God.
But that one you could have read into a little bit too, because you could have said
Oh my
in
God,
public.
I
You could have
can't.
chose.
I
Didn't say
can't.
where in
He's just
public,
gonna
so it
ruin
means
this
you
whole
could have just
game.
said it anytime. But what I wanted to
randomly.
bring. What I wanted to bring up, wasn't there a Jackass episode where a guy had to do that?
Do what?
Shit in his
Probably.
pants.
I don't know
Probably.
about that, but
No,
they had a
there
bunch
was.
of
I'm pretty
ones where
sure
they
there
did.
was.
Well,
He was-
the thing is, I can understand why you get confused, but it's my point because they crapped everywhere.
Well, yeah,
they had
they
the
did.
episode where the guy went into a toilet store where it was just they were not working toilets.
There was just
Oh my
on
God.
display in
He
the
took-
store.
He took a crap in a
He went
toilet.
and sat down and got a paper and sat
Yeah.
there and started reading
And
the
he
paper
actually
and took
did
a
crap.
crap in one of the.
He
one of
actually
the
did take a
on
crap in the
display
toilet. Yeah.
toilet bowls.
Yep. All right,
Yeah.
Brian. So what are you going to go with? Are you going with the one?
The first one.
The
Yeah,
first
the one
year.
once
All
a
right,
year.
all right, once a year. All right, Dad. You pick one of those for me. I'm not going to look this time.
Top three.
Yeah, whichever one, whichever one.
Wait,
of the ones
hold on,
are
that
on
was
the
the one
screen
you
right
asked
now.
me.
No, I'll try to. Let's see if I can zoom in 4,000.
No, you don't. I could read it, and you're going to be able to read it. So
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. All right, there we go. All right. Hopefully, one of those is good. If one of those is not good, I'll scroll down some more.
Fair.
We don't want to go ahead.
So
of these
far, they're
things.
bound to be good.
Would you rather be racist or homophobic? Oh God! Next, please.
They
Next.
just all sound so good.
It's like there we go.
that one's kind of weird.
These are all pretty.
Would you? No, they're all. They're fine. They'll keep them there. I'm not sure. I might pick one.
Oh, this
of
one's a
them.
better one. Do that one. I love that one.
All right. Would you rather?
I'm having him read it. Do that one. I picked it.
Yeah, just do that.
All right. Well, all right. Fine. Would you rather have uncontrollable gas at work for the rest of your life, or uncontrollable gas on every first date for the rest of your life?
All right. So again,
That's
this
an
is
easy one for
something
you.
that for me again, this is kind of. I don't, but no, it's not that. I was like, this is an easy one for you.
It is.
You're farting every first date. Like, what? This is easy. I think it's like, would you rather chop off all of your fingers or have your mom murdered in front of you? This is an easy one for you.
Yeah, it's not
This is
hard.
easy. Oh, they're all easy for me. Would you rather jump off a bridge or jump onto a knife? That's easy. That's easy. That's a no-brainer. It's ridiculous. I think that I would definitely, first of all, my job right now is loosely related podcast, really
yeah, same.
full time. And I do have uncontrollable gas every time I'm here. So
This is true.
I guess I'm going to go with uncontrollable gas at work. Nothing ruins a first date faster than you just being like, oh yeah, no, you want to, you know what? I had a friend who went to Yale. It was like, oh God.
Uncontrollable gas doesn't necessarily mean that you can hear it.
Right. Okay.
But,
You
yeah.
can smell it.
You can smell it.
And if you can't smell it, then you can hear
If you
it.
can't,
So you don't get both.
But if you
don't
can't
get
smell
both.
it, you can always
No.
blame it on something else.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That is bull. Oh yeah, 400 times in a row. Yeah, no, that freaking plant. It's that weird plant. That plant.
It's a
Yeah, that's
plant.
not right there. That's
No, they have that.
That's a rose.
There's
Yeah,
that-
it's a worst smelling
that
rose
Limburger
iris.
cheese
No.
that's in that freaking macaroni and cheese stuff that
Exactly.
they make here. So that's what you're smelling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where
Just that
are you
dog
going
keeps
on your
walking
first
back
date?
and forth outside.
You haven't been on a first date in a long time. It's
It's
like
been
that's
a while.
that's what happens when you're married over 30 years. Like, oh, my first date was at the
Lindbergher Cheese Factory.
The Lindbergher.
Lindbergher
The
Cheese
Hindenburg.
Factory.
Why are you eating at the Hindenburg Cheese Factory? You're going to,
The Lindbergh Cheese Factory of 1886.
that went down in flames with the actual Hindenburg. That's what happened at that freaking restaurant.
That's what the Hindenburg landed on.
That's what the Hindenburg. Yeah.
Somebody threw a Lindbergh cheese at the Hindenburg and took it down.
That's what it was.
Ridiculous. All right, so we'll do one more each of this. All right, let's see. You don't even
This
know
is
who
for
that
me, right?
person is. Yeah, this is going to be for you. All right, ready? Here we go. All right, so would you rather have an animal best friend that could be any animal you choose, and it would be intelligent and speak to you, and you could ride it around town if it's a large enough animal,
Okay.
or be married to somebody with a hot body? So that's an interesting. That's sort of a trick question.
I'd rather
for you.
have the
I threw you
animal
on
friend
that.
with the
Yeah, the animal. That's so
animal
easy.
friend
Even
with-
if you were single, you would still want the animal friend because that's freaking badass. And I know that.
Yeah,
you would.
because if you have the animal friend, you can get the women too. Walk that shit around, you get to pick
Right.
the women up with the animal friend.
unless it's
You
like a
can even have-
bear, and he's like kind of a jerk, like he doesn't really listen to you. Like, don't eat this next one. It's like, well, if I don't feel like it,
Yeah.
I'll see. I'll see how I'm feeling. It's like, all right, yeah, you said that last time, Fred.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah, well, listen.
Well, it would have to be
want me to
intelligent,
do,
like it
man?
said. That it's specified intelligent.
no,
so
when they said intelligent, first of all, intelligence is a matter of is a relative term.
This
guess
is
for
true.
the
Is
animal,
it
right.
Einstein intelligence?
Yeah, what kind of intelligence? That's what I'm saying. All it is you can read into. Intelligence
Yeah.
is just it's relevant.
All right. Well, Brian, this is what we're gonna do here. We're gonna go on.
Okay.
All right. So,
Yeah.
this is kind of good. There's some pretty interesting ones here. I don't know. These are all weird ones, man. Oh, let's see. All right, here we go. Because Brian and I know Lexi watches the podcast, and I think
I make her.
that this would be good. So we would say.
Perfect.
Would you rather have your significant other look through all your text chat email history
Oh, God, it's put
or
on the
your
spot.
employer? Or your employer? That is a solid question that I do not know the answer to.
Oh, really?
I don't think I know the answer to that question.
Wait, it's like text.
The question is this.
history?
All right, so the first
Text, chat,
the
email
first thing
history.
I would ask is, let me see our corporation's human resources policy
Yeah,
handbook.
the HR.
Okay, is that oh shit. All right, significant other. That's the first
Yeah.
first thing. All right.
I know. I would 100% do significant other. I have nothing to hide.
Yeah,
All right. There we go,
Yeah.
Brian.
I probably would too because I
Not on the email and text history. I don't.
Right. Okay. So there we go. Perfect.
Right.
All right. So there we go. And that's as far as we know.
My cartel transactions are in my notes.
See, that's why I use WhatsApp. WhatsApp is great for all that stuff.
The
That's
only
how
thing I
hit
wouldn't
most of
really
it.
want to divulge is the cartel chat information that I have.
Yeah.
You know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, Dad. Well, this is
Well, you still got to do you.
pick
so I'm
one
gonna pick
more.
for
What if
This
you
you.
one-
work for the cartel? Then you can just your employer doesn't care.
your employer doesn't care, but that was like then it's like, oh well,
Yeah.
I saw you were chatting with, you were chatting on Facebook Instant Messenger with, I'm Fred. Don't worry, I'm not FBI.
Yeah, right.
Like, what did you think was happening? You said he wasn't FBI.
Right.
All right, come on, big a little faster here.
Would you rather be an average, not famous professional athlete on your current salary, or a wealthy, world-renowned professional in a field you don't care about, mathematician, classical musician, whatever?
Damn, see that's
easy for me.
That's interesting. It would be fun. I mean, I'm not average. See, the thing is, my current salary that would be freaking. I mean, that's just like. But the thing is, you're not even famous. Like, I would be an average athlete. I don't want to be. I'm at best average at podcasting right now, and I can't stand that. I can't imagine how much I'd hate being an average athlete. Jesus. I think I'd probably go with the wealthy, world-renowned professional. With my luck, unfortunately, I'd wind up
That's
being
probably
like,
going to be you anyway.
yeah, you're going to be a world-renowned urologist. It's going to be really great. You're going to be able to diagnose all sorts of testicular torsion.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yep.
All right, well, that's going to be the end of that. So that was our first ever loosely related. What did I call it? Would you
We
rather?
called it Would You Rather.
Yeah.
Would you
All
rather.
right. So that being said, we talked about a lot of fun things today. We talked about some new segments. There is one thing I wanted to do. We like
What's
to have
that?
our recurring segments
All
here.
right.
Brian has not been here in a while.
Uh-oh.
I like to do this every now and then. It happens on a good day. So we've all been in quarantine. We've all seen a lot of, just news headlines that are, make you nervous, make you scared, make you feel something inside. You're like, oh no, I don't want to leave the house. Well, every now and then you might see a headline that just makes you like, okay, well, that's not a real person. And then you Google like, oh, okay, so then I am better than someone. At least I'm better than one person.
Right.
And I decided to do a little bit of a variation on a classic recurring loosely related segment, and that is
a variation of Florida Man?
Variation of Florida Man, yes.
A variation of the Adventures of Florida Man on Loosely Related Podcast. This is going to be, this next segment, finish off the show strong, the Adventures of Quarantine Man. The Adventures of Quarantine Man. If you're not familiar with the show, I'm going to go around. I'm going to ask, usually Rob is here too, but again, couldn't be here today, but I'm going to ask my dad, I'm going to ask Brian, whether this is a headline with a description, or it's a description, or it's a story, whatever it might be, about somebody since the start of this epidemic, since this quarantine. It's a headline. Someone did something crazy. These two got to figure out if the story is true or false. Go around. We'll do it. I got 9 of them. Should be pretty good. Some of them are true. Some of them are false.
We got to decide if they're true or false.
Even the ones that are false, I pulled them up. I made it off the top of my head. Whatever it might be. Anyway, here we go. This is the Adventures of Quarantine Man. You got to look straight ahead. Make sure you look at this screen.
We should leave one of these.
Yeah.
For the audience to answer on social media.
Right. Well, that sounds good. We'll leave the last one.
It's for the social media.
Point. The last one is for you guys. I'm not going to reveal what it is. You guys are going to guess that last one. All right. So.
Of course.
But in the meantime, The Adventures of Quarantine Man #1. This is the news story. Okay. A Florida man was arrested after leading officers on a car chase when he drove off the street and onto the beach. In questioning, the man stated, "I was bored from being cooped up all day and the sand looked nice." Is this story true or false? Dad, what do you got?
I would say true.
All right.
That sounds pretty tame for Florida. I'm going to say,
that's a pretty solid one, I know.
I'm going to say false.
Well, the answer for that one is true.
All right.
That is a true story. That is a man who existed in the world, and he did lead people on a chase, and that was real. All right, so this is #2. We're going to scoot right along here. A Florida man encased himself in concrete outside the governor's mansion in the state capital, apparently to protest prison conditions related to the coronavirus. Is this true or false, Dad?
I'd say false.
Brian, what do you got? Guy encased himself in concrete. I don't know what is it? What was the point of that?
He would die.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
if a person encased himself in concrete, they would die.
Like, oh, I'm in prison. Like, well, like prison. We don't encase guys in concrete. Yeah, you do.
No.
Like, please don't encase yourself in concrete. Yeah, I'm proving a point. So,
what do you just like? You turn into the thing when it freezes. Like that's it, or when it cools.
Exactly.
Like hardens.
Oh, it's like Han Solo in the carbonite.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
I'm gonna say false. I don't think that. No.
That is a true story.
What?
That is a true story. A man did that. He did survive. It was just from the head, the neck down. But yes, he did do that.
Down?
Yes, neck down. Yeah.
How's he breathe when the cement solidifies?
I'd have no freaking clue, but they got him out.
That is
he
the
survived.
dumbest thing
He went to the
I've ever
hospital, unsurprisingly.
Wow.
But yeah. All right. So this is #3. Moving right along here. A Midwest family is currently protesting their local Waffle House after the Waffle House refused to sell them unopened boxes of pancake mix, an unopened carton of a dozen eggs, and 2 containers of unopened maple syrup. Is this story true or false, Dad? So it sounds like they basically, when they went grocery shopping at Waffle House, they're like, "Hey, can you give us like all your uncooked eggs you haven't used yet? And also like maybe some maple syrup. You have any like toilet paper back there? Also, I need some like rice-a-roni. Any rice-a-roni?"
I'm going to say true to that.
All right, Brian, what do you got on that one?
Well, there's been 2 trues in a row,
There has been 2 trues in a row.
but I've said false twice and been wrong.
Yes.
So obviously, I'm gonna go false again.
All right. The answer to that one is false.
Okay.
As a false question was made up.
All right, so it's
That was
tied now. Me and
created.
Brian both
You
have
and
one
Brian are
correct.
1 correct each.
Yes.
Pretty good. #4, scooting along. A man's neighbor called an ambulance for him after he was seen walking around his front yard coughing and sneezing uncontrollably. When paramedics arrived on the scene, he explained that it was the only way that he could think of to keep the squirrels off his grass. Is this true or false? Apparently, this guy thinks squirrels are really afraid of the coronavirus. This guy's like, oh, no, they don't want to get that. I'll tell you one thing. Squirrels, they like nuts. They hate coronavirus. They're really afraid of it. They don't, you know what it is? They don't have good... There's not enough, talk in Congress about good health care for squirrels.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They
true.
tried to
It's a
bring
real
it
thing.
before
I mean, what it
Congress
is.
many times. It just keeps
don't have
getting
to
Get
Well,
rolled
shot
out.
down.
So
They get shot down. The lobbyists.
down.
The lobbyists.
they don't care.
That's what it is, man. Freaking lobbyists. All right, true or false, Dad?
I'm
going to
say that one is true.
All right, Brian. These are some pretty guy with squirrels. Had
I
some
feel
squirrels.
like that is false.
I think Brian.
That is false. That
Brian's
is a
right, yeah.
false statement. Brian got it.
Okay.
Pretty solid. All right, here we go. Number 5, Florida man arrested after threatening bystanders with a white powder that he claimed was a weaponized version of COVID-19 that he developed. After throwing the substance at an officer, it was discovered to be baking soda. So, Dad, you got true or false on that one?
I'm going to say false.
False. All right, Brian, what do we
I'm-
got?
I'm going to say true.
That is a true
Oh,
statement.
man, I've
Brian
got
killing it.
ripped
Brian got
here.
2 in a row.
Wow.
I'm usually
good.
bad at these.
They're pretty good, man. All right, this one, we got a new one. The Newport, Oregon Police Department was forced to issue a warning last week asking residents of the northwest town to, quote, not call 911 just because you ran out of toilet paper. True or false, Dad? What
I'm
do we
going to say
got?
false to that one. It's
False to that one.
going to be false one of these days.
Brian.
The thing is, though, like that's something I feel like I could like hear of people doing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Like 100%.
realistically, all of these, even the ones that are false, are like,
Yeah, yeah.
Here's the thing: is after all the the real ones I've read making these lists,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no, for sure, 100%.
They don't sound as ridiculous.
Man dies trying to launch himself into space to cure coronavirus. Yeah, it's probably true.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Of course, it's not true. Well, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
It's like,
Exactly. Man, called 911 for toilet paper.
yeah.
I'm gonna say true.
All right, and that is true.
Oh, wow,
Brian
really?
just
All
killing
right, I'm
it.
just going
Brian's
to keep
got 3
saying
in a
false till I
row.
get a false one.
All right.
It's usually my strategy.
Yeah.
This is number 7. Man arrested after an officer offered to test any crystal meth he had on him to make sure it did not have coronavirus. True or false?
I'm going to say false.
All right, Brian.
You know what's tough about this is there was
Yes.
actually I read an article once that said like the police officers said that they would file the taxes of drug dealers.
Really?
If they came down to the station and then
Really?
people like came down to the station
Oh,
and
that's
got arrested.
hilarious.
So
Oh,
wow.
this is not something that I would see to be like unfounded.
Right.
But I think I'm also gonna go false.
All right. That is true.
Wow.
That is a true
Yep.
story, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yes, that
Wow.
is true. All right. Number 8. Man hospitalized after attempting to ingest Drano in attempt to, quote, flush out the corona. I had to flush out that corona.
That actually is. I know people who have done that and killed
I got to
themselves.
flush out the corona. True or false?
I'm going to say that's. I don't know if that one's particularly true. But
Yeah.
I know that there's
saying.
been like
Dangerous
it.
game of going false every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm going to go false again.
All right. Brian, what do you got? True and or false?
Wait. I'm ahead.
Oh,
You
by
are
a
ahead
lot.
by, I believe
It's
you
like-
have
it's like
five.
five-
If I just agree with everything he says, I
Yeah,
win.
Yeah,
Go
right.
false.
Yeah.
The answer is false.
It's
That
false.
is true.
So I got 2, and I think you got
That is
5
true.
or 6.
All right, so here is the last one.
Wait, no, we're going to save that
Oh
for
yes,
the...
no. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read.
We're going
it.
to
I'm
read
not
the
gonna
last
tell you
one,
The answer.
and we're not going to divulge the answer to the
Right.
people
So-
out there, and you can answer the question
So
on
let us
Facebook,
know. We'll post
Instagram,
it on social media.
or whatever social media you can find out there where you
Internet.
can reach the Loosely Related
Yeah.
podcast, wherever
Yep.
you happen to be. That could be anywhere at this point. We don't really know.
Intranet.
Or just comment.
We're on the
comment.
intranet. We're on
comments
the
below.
comments
comments below
Yeah, so
on the YouTube
That's probably
channel.
the most easy way, but yeah, wherever you want
Yeah,
to do it. So
so-
here is number 9. And so here's what we're going to do. If you guys can give your answers, both of you, I won't tell you if it's right or wrong, but you guys give
Okay.
yours, and that's how we'll do it. Ready? So number 9, the final, the Adventures of Quarantine Man is a man was arrested for trespassing on a private property in a Washington forest In questioning, he revealed that the reason for his crime was, I wanted to check on Bigfoot with all that coronavirus stuff going around. So, Dad, is this going to be true or false? Give your answer for the people out there.
I'm going to say true myself.
Yeah,
All right, Brian.
I'm going to say true. I want that to be true.
So we will let you know. Give those comments on Thursday. We're going to give you the answer. I've decided that right now. Thursday, we're going to give you the answer for that. We will let you know. In the meantime, that's going to be all from us here at Loosely Related Podcast. We hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed it. Back to our usual selves, just doing what we do.
Back to containment, whatever it's
Back
called.
to
Back to
Quarantainment.
We already did the
quarantainment.
quarantine. Back to
Yeah.
regular quarantine.
back to regular entertainment.
We're going back to regular entertainment.
Well, if we go back to regular entertainment, we're no longer entertaining anymore.
Well,
That's the
anyway.
problem. We're only quarantining. That's it.
Anyway, peace out.
But anyway, we will see you
you
guys
messed it
next
up.
time. You mess it up again. What else is new? That's what do you do? It's like he specializes in, hey, are we doing an outro? All right, so it's intro time. Welcome back, everybody, to Loose Related Podcast.
Welcome back. Hey, nice to have you people.
Welcome back. But anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. We will see you next time. And again, just want to say another shout out. I've said every episode so far. I want to say it again. Thank you again to all of our first responders out there, all
Everybody
the
out
doctors,
there.
nurses, everybody
Everyone
out there on the
helping.
front lines, helping fight this.
People bringing the food to us. People doing,
Yes.
all these people out there that are just working so hard to try to get past this crisis that we're in right now. And hopefully it will end very soon.
Hopefully it'll
you'll
end
get
soon.
back to your normal lives again.
Yep.
But thank you from Loosely Related Podcast.
Yeah.
And so keep up the good fight.